king, like Shady said. When you talk about the king, you put the crown on. To me, the craziest thing is real simple. Like, the fact that LeBron has the wherewithal, the fortitude to, before the game, kick up all the dust in the world off the court cooking people, then get onto the court in the midst of the game and hit and clinch a game winner after he allows Luka to take the last shot. LeBron still says, hey, I'm the king. So even if the person I allow to take the last shot misses the last shot, I'm going to have the fortitude and the mental wherewithal to come in and clinch the game winner, like y'all see right there. But then after the game, as soon as it's over, get right back to cooking people. I'm like, the fact that LeBron James has that type of compartmentalization is crazy.
Brown said he got time today.
He had all the time. Like, before the game, you gonna cook. During the game, you gonna cook. Then after the game, you gonna cook. I'm sitting there watching that game. I'm like, who is this thing? Who is this basketball deity? Who is this basketball authority? It was wild. But for me, it's really like LeBron didn't have a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but he had a game winner. That's all that matters to me.
Listen, I love this new LeBron. I love him, right? You know, LeBron's always been like cool, control, right? Oh, he's always ahead of everything he says. But it's like, hey, man, his clock is winding down, still playing well, and he's living his life. He's talking his talk, right? He came to Indianapolis, right? What was that, Indianapolis? Yeah, played with the Pacers. Indy. And I'm going to go holler at, you know, some people on TV, talk my little talk. Then I'm going to go to court and do my thing on the court and then win the game, right? So I love what LeBron's doing, and they need this win. You on the road, right? Hostile environment, I think, with the Pacers, man, and they had to find a way to win. They've been losing a lot games lately, and they found a way to win on the road. That's a big win. Came through LeBron James, King James. Bam.
Yeah. I'm with you, Shady. I love this LeBron, too.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, you got to get sick of all this, right? Whether you're saying the right stuff or not. But at one point, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of taking the high road all the time. Hey, man, everybody can get it. All right? And I really don't care how they get it. That's what LeBron was on. But, I mean, big-time shot, big-time play. Even just to stay with the play. Give it to Luka. I mean, I'm sure he probably thought, oh, Luka getting to the paint, that's a floater. That's easy money right there. But to stay with the play and tip it in a must-needed win, because you was about to lose 4 straight. So I know he didn't have a great game, but to help your team win this game and you was looking at a 0-4 hole, is a big-time play right here. But, yeah.
I think, like, LeBron proved, bro, that athletes, that's what I love about the facility, he proved athletes are human and people, too. 100%. You know what I'm saying? He proved athletes are people. Before the game, when he went on and he said everything he said, he proved athletes are parents as well when he went on and talking about protecting his son. And then he also proved that he's the ultimate athlete. And that's what I love is, like, so often we only know the athletes for what they do on the court, and rightfully so. But obviously, and in the facility, we can talk about it better than most, if not better than all. Going and doing what you want to do before the game and prove, no, I'm a person, I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm all those things. Then on the court, I'm still a pure hooper. And I'm still one of the best hoopers the game of basketball has ever seen. Then off the court, oh, I'm just like y'all. 100%. I got feelings, I got emotions, and I'm a sound off too. So to me, like, that was my favorite part and biggest part of the takeaway. And you know what they say, nobody cares what you're doing until you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Let LeBron have sucked and lost that game. Completely different narrative would have been talked about today on sports television.
You think he still posts that meme of Stephen A?
Not even now, you can't. And if you take a loss.
But even though
then,
what he said.
You know what?
You know what I mean? He still might have.
I think he still might have.
Hey, one thing he did say that was interesting for me to hear is, because LeBron never talks about errors, right? LeBron's the ultimate, like, role model. I always say this, man. I mean, you know, I love the Kobe's and the Jordans and all them guys, but there's never been a role model like LeBron James. And that's what you say what you want, but it's true. And he said something and he never talks about, like, the errors. And he's like, hey, man, if Giannis played back in the 70s, he would have 250 points.
Ruffled a lot of feathers.
Right?
That was wild.
And normally, like, it's always people that's talking for LeBron. You know what I mean? Because J.J. Redick said something like that before, and other guys talk like that. And people take shots at LeBron, guys from 75, you know, all team. 100%. You know what I'm saying? But he never really responds back. And it's the first time he really says something. And I don't care if it's true or not. No doubt. I just like to see him, like, be real. Like, yo, hey, that's how I feel.
No doubt.
And when you hear, like, one of the kings on the mountain say it, it's differently than people speaking up for LeBron. You know what I'm saying? And, like, him talking about, listen, I'm 6'9", 280 pounds, man. You telling me I can't play in that area? Am I skilled enough? And, like, when he says it, if you say it or you say it, okay, cool. But when he said it means more because it's really the
do you agree with him? And not only that, though, like, because I agree with LeBron. I hate when old school dudes say you couldn't play in this era. So basically, that's what it is, right? Because that's what they're saying about LeBron. Like, you're too soft to play in our era. It was violent. It was hand checking. It was this and that. So you telling me I ain't gonna adapt to my situation? If I know this game is physical and violent, I'm finna be physical and violent. Y'all acting like I'm 5'2", 120 pounds, like it's finna go down. I hate when the old school players do that, and obviously our era is a totally different era athletically.
Yeah.
You know, so I even hate comparing eras because it's not close athletically.
Rock expect to be the starter. Expect to come in rock and roll every day.
Barely said.
That's the quarterback.
Stuttering. Yeah, expect to be the starter.
This Russell Wilson situation is going to be one of the most complex situations I suggest all year. He expects to be the starter, but he didn't get starter money. He got backup quarterback money. Sam Darnold signed a $10 million deal last year with the Minnesota Vikings to be a potential starter, but really a backup to the first-round pick rookie J.J. McCarthy. Russell Wilson signed a $10.5 million guaranteed deal with the New York Giants. This is fringe starter money. This ain't exclusive starter money. So, Chase, what would a successful season for Russell Wilson be?
I love that you said that because I agree. But a successful season would be exactly what Russ said, to be a starter. I think they have to win 10 games, too. So, first and foremost, keep the starting job the entire year. That sounds crazy, but you know if Russ is getting asked about it, he expects to be the starter. They have not told him anything. He didn't say, we got told when we signed here for $10.5 million that I would be the starter. So first and foremost, be the starter. I think he's better than Jameis Winston. Don't know what the Giants are going to do with the number 3 pick. If they pick a quarterback, who's starting? Okay, that is the first and foremost thing. Keep your job the whole year. And I say that because half of his contract, when you really look at it, and it came out yesterday, half of his contract is tied to playing time and performance. So there's $3 million in incentives, which if you break that down over 17 games, $175,000 per game he can get with winning games and playing 50% of the snaps.
Can you give me, without getting into too much of the minutia of it, do you have some of the details?
Yeah, so there's $7.5 million in incentives based on play time and playoff incentives and also like stats.
Got it.
The other $3 million of it is purely an in-per-game incentive. $175,000 per game is based on win. So if you win a game and you play at least 50% of the snaps of the season, you get an extra $3 million. So for him, yeah, I want to start because I want that extra $3 million bucks. But more importantly, and we talked about this, we can go back and forth on it, but I believe that if Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, if they don't win 10 games or make the playoffs, they will be fired. And so that's a lot of extra pressure for Russell Wilson coming in, even though it's fringe starter money, sort of high-end backup money. You have to go out there and you have to get to be the starter because they didn't give him this $30 million contract. Like, I think there's more things at play. We're going to find out more once we get close to draft time, if they're drafting, if they're not. But the Giants are currently 150 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. It's the 4th worst odds. So that's what Vegas is telling you. I don't gamble a lot, but those seem like pretty bad odds.
Yeah, well, they're not winning a Super Bowl. But that don't mean Russ can't play well. I'll say this, though, before I even get into successful season for him. The brother made $300 million playing this game.
Yeah.
So I'll take it 10, 15, 12, 13. I'll take that little bit. That's cool with me, right? Because for y'all, that means something. For y'all, that means something. Right, for Justin Fields, yeah, that means something for him. Sam Darnold, that means something for me. I 300. So me, I love playing the game, and Russ shows you that. And I think the Giants, they had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Cut it how you want. Yeah, one of them type of guys, long time.
Yeah.
You go from Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson, I would be excited. And I think a successful season for him, 4,000 yards passing, 30 touchdowns.
When was the last time he did that?
Let's say, you know what?
4,000?
I don't, because like I like the. I feel like when you play for the New York Giants, the Cowboys, the Eagles, right? The lights are so bright, and great players, they get brighter. Yeah. And I think he will show up. So I want him. Let's just say, can I say 3,700? Is that cool?
That's what I got.
3,700 yards and 30 touchdowns. That's Russell Wilson. That's a successful season.
That's a successful?
Yeah, because
that's an amazing season.
For example, they asked him, "Oh well, do you deserve? Do you think?" Or no. Did they ask you would you start, or they tell you would you start? And he's like, "Yeah, who you gonna start? Jameis Winston? I'm Russell Wilson." And I think we all forget that. It's like I think with Aaron Rodgers, y'all remember his name and who he is, but when it comes to Russ, y'all don't remember that. I remember who Russ is.
No, we do. They're not the same player, but we do.
I mean, what do you mean? Like, Rodgers is better, right?
Yes. That's not a question you have to ask.
But he hasn't been great lately.
Of course not.
But he's a great player.
Sure.
Russ has been a great player. He hasn't been great lately. You tell me what's the difference.
The difference is Rodgers has 2 MVPs since Russ last threw for 4,000 yards. That would be the
How long ago was
difference.
that?
The same.
4,000 yards is
Russ
a
last threw for
lot.
4,000 yards.
Wait. How long? Wait. So we talking about MVPs now. See?
No.
See? And I was everybody.
He's on the side. He's on
We
the
go.
side.
But this is why we have these blocks every day on every network. Should they wait for Aaron Rodgers? It's because people think like that. MVP Aaron Rodgers.
I'll focus on the Russ question. I think if Russ does what Shady suggests, that would be a marvelous season.
Let's go, Russ.
If Russ can throw for 4,000 yards, like marvelous.
I changed it.
3,700.
Wait, now it's 35. You just said 37.
We had 37. I got on my.
30.
Now he's trying to lower it to 35.
Count me at 37.
500 less yards.
That would be a marvelous season. For me, a successful season for Russ, win 9 games. Just win 9 games.
Oh, 9.
I do not care what you do individually. Because I don't think the world cares what you do individually.
Yeah.
I was talking about Russell Wilson yesterday to some of his close confidants, and I was talking about the fact that Russell Wilson over the last 2 seasons has 42 touchdowns and only 13 interceptions. How you got 42 touchdowns, 13 interceptions over the last 2 seasons, and you're on your 3rd team? So what you do individually, Russell Wilson, does not matter nearly as much as what you do collectively. Russell Wilson can ball statistically, but if his team loses, it means nothing. But if Russell Wilson's team wins, that implies that he must have balled because the Giants are not good enough to win without Russell Wilson balling. There's no way that Russell Wilson can have a moderate season and the Giants get to 9 wins. So if the Giants get to the 10 wins that Chase suggests or the 9 wins that I suggest, that will imply that Russell Wilson played well enough to win. I care more about the Giants' team success because that implies Russ must have played well as well.
I agree with that, but why? Where did you come up with, I want to know, the 9 wins? Because I came up with the 10 because 10 could potentially and probably get you into a wild card game. Yeah. I don't know if 9 does.
Winning season. That was just it for me.
But,
you know,
they need that.
Go 9-8. That was.
But is a winning season enough for Brian Daboll and Joe Shane to keep their jobs?
No, I don't think so.
And therefore, Russell Wilson will not be back with the Giants. So
I don't think either way. So really, the details to my answer.
They won't keep their job?
To me, I don't believe so, but I don't want to get distracted there either. I know y'all disagree there. To me, Russ, a successful season, my thesis statement, play good enough to be a starter next year.
Okay, so you want, okay.
I don't care where.
Okay.
I do not care where. I don't think
for a
it
team
will
to
be
want
in
you
the
next year.
Exactly right. A successful season, play good enough for us to be a starter somewhere the following season.
Because I think you and Chase be prepping together. So you
really don't. He didn't send me the
you mean to
questions.
tell me coming into this season, if Brian Daboll has a winning season, he's fired?
If they don't make the playoffs, I believe so, yeah. They were almost fired last year.
That just sounds wild.
I hope he's not. But unfortunately, last year, they almost got fired last year. The only way they keep their job is if they make the playoffs and show hope.
You just said 150 to what? Odds?
150.
So that means the Giants organization and everybody know around there is very slim with the roster we have. We're going to make the playoffs. You mean to tell me if Brian Daboll has Russell Wilson playing at a high level and has a winning season, he's fired? I disagree.
Here's the thing, though, Jay. Think about this for a second. I'll say it calmly. Daboll went 9-7-1.
Playoffs.
Then he went, yes, sir. Then he went 6-11. Then he went 3-14. Trying to do this math off the top of my head, he's 18-32-1. So even if he goes 9-8 this year, again, doing the math off the top of my head, he is 27-40-1.
So why did you?
And he's building. I mean, he's 4 years.
So my thing
9-6-3-9.
But my thing is, if that's what you're reading me, why didn't you fire him this year? Because
they almost did.
I know they almost did, but you did not fire him this year. You weren't expecting him. We're not going to fire him this year. He going to the playoffs. He going to win a champion. You're not. The roster's not built like that. So you had to keep him this year. Hey, man, if you have a winning season, get some more draft picks, get some more players in here. We believe you are coach of the year. We believe you are a heck of a football coach. That's why we kept you. I disagree with
anything about Daboll.
season.
We're talking about the Giants organization as a whole.
Saying.
It is a complete dumpster fire right now, man. There's a no. They traded away, or they didn't re-sign Saquon Barkley. The GM is out there saying we need a $40 million quarterback, Daniel Jones, over a $12 million.
I agree with all that.
So all that plays into it, James.
Understandable, but if you telling me that this dude is going to have a winning season after all that, and you're saying he's going to get fired, that just sounds crazy. But as for Russ, I'm with Shady. Forget the team success and all that type stuff. Russell Wilson wants to continue to keep playing this game. Russell Wilson has been playing this game at I wouldn't say very high level, but at a consistent level. I don't know what these other organizations are looking at. I know the Denver Broncos, hey, he wasn't your guy as the head coach. I don't know what the Steelers are looking at. So for Russ, you have to go out here and prove to these dudes that I can still play this game at a high level. And I'm with Shady. 3,700 yards, 30 touchdowns. If you got Daniel Jones to play at a high level, you can get Russell Wilson to play at a high level. Russell Wilson played last year. He had close to 2,500 yards and 16 touchdowns, and he did not play 6 games. So 3,700 yards, to me, is doable for Russell Wilson and 30 touchdowns. And if he can accomplish that, I don't know how many wins that accounts to, but it does show me that, hey, man, he still could play this game at a high level.
That's right, James. That's right, James.
And again, for the record, like, I love Russell Wilson. So I hope what they're saying comes true, with all due respect.
Sorry, Russ.
I hope what they're saying comes true. I'm trying to figure out, though, where's 37 or 4,000 yards coming from? So after Malik gets his 1,400, where are the other 2,200, 2,500 coming from? I hope what y'all are saying is true, but the dilemma I have is we haven't seen Russ throw for 3,700 yards since 2020.
2020?
We haven't seen him do that. And mind you, he's had a plethora of coaches, a plethora of organizations, a plethora of wide receivers. Sean Payton.
When Sean Payton came in, he was rusty as hell. Was he not?
He was rusty.
When Sean Payton came back to the league for the Broncos, he wasn't his best. There was a couple times where they had some mental farts with the timing and all that play calling. He came from the desk.
First year, he was extremely rusty.
Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Am I saying something wrong?
Are you trying to say Daboll's a better coach than Sean Payton?
What I'm saying is, what I just said was that Russell hasn't had a guy like Daboll yet. He hasn't.
Not offensive mind.
No, he hasn't.
That's Sean Payton.
Listen what I'm saying. Y'all not heard when Sean Payton. Okay,
I hear what Chase. The defense was bad.
The defense had 60 points on him. That did happen. Not a bad game. That happened. So defense was bad. 70 points. Okay, and then Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a phenomenal coach overall. But the Sean Payton we seen this year with Bo Nix. That wasn't the same with Russ.
What about Russ's last 8 games with the Broncos where he
played
threw for
well
a ton of yards? Does that not anything to do with it?
Am I wrong what I'm saying? When Sean
was rusty for sure, but not the whole year.
However you want to put it. If it's 6, 7 games, whatever it is, it's a full season. What I'm saying is I watched Brian Daboll do well with Josh Allen when Josh Allen was really, really young. I watched that. I watched Brian Daboll also do something with Daniel Jones that I didn't think nobody can do. Maybe even Andy Reid, probably.
But remember what he did with Daniel Jones was 15 passing touchdowns and 5 picks. Like, that's what he did with Daniel Jones.
And before that, Daniel Jones, 2 years straight, had the most turnovers in football.
Correct.
2 years in a row. So you remove that to do that, I will take that.
Here's what I think. 800 yards rushing.
Yeah, here's what I think, too. And we're not, and I'm not, I can't speak for Acho. I'm not saying that Brian Daboll is not a great coach, because I do think he's a great coach.
Absolutely.
He's had a very, very difficult path to success with the New York Giants. The fact that he did take them to the playoffs and win a playoff game with Daniel Jones, that matters.
Okay.
I am saying, though, this has more to do with the Giants organization. If they don't win this year and get to the playoffs, good, bad, Hall of Fame coaches or not, they're fired. It's their 4th year, and they made the playoffs in the first.
But when you say that,
I'm not. This is not me saying that Brian Daboll is a bad coach. It's a situation where they do not have good players, and they play in the toughest division in football.
This is my thing, though. Like, so what coaches can win over there then? Right now,
I know.
Right now,
exactly.
No. Right now, this year, it don't matter what coach you bring in or coaches active right now. Who can win with that roster?
That's why I think they should have fired him last year. Get a new start.
So what I'm saying is now, if you go in here and you have a quarterback that plays well, right? Plays well. Now you can start adding on to certain pieces. If they can win 9 games with that roster, you tell me you can't add on to that roster and potentially the next year be the year. Okay, the make or break year that next year.
Here's the thing, and with Russ. Okay, Russ is a Band-Aid. The $10.5 million. Russ is not going to be the future franchise quarterback in the New York Giants. He's 36 years old. He's on his 4th team in 4 years. Could be on his 5th and 5 if they didn't go back to the Giants. So even if they do win 9 games with Russ and don't make the playoffs, where's the hope? Is Russ just going to keep playing at a high level? What's my quarterback position? Who am I drafting? Am I going to trust Jameis? Am I going to have to go through this whole thing again? All this stuff. That's what I'm looking at. Like, even if they do win 9 with Russ, okay, great. If Russ plays well enough, are we just going to run it back with Russ? When are we going to rip the Band-Aid off? Continue to try and draft a quarterback of the future, which they have.
You still can do.
My thing is, what do you mean?
Well, everything you say, you still can do. Yeah. I'm lost what you said.
Well, I don't think they take Shador with 3. But are they going to wait till next year and give him another year to rebuild and draft Alex Manning?
Because I'm so lost. So what do you recommend? Because you're saying, what do you recommend? I asked you that first. What do you recommend?
Exactly what I said yesterday. You have for them to keep their jobs. This is my opinion. For them to keep their jobs and to give the Giants organization and fan base hope, you have to draft a rookie quarterback, and that rookie quarterback has to win 7 to 8 games.
So why can't they do that now, though, Chase?
Because I just think with Russ and Jameis, it's going to be a cluster.
So really
like,
quick.
it's just like, you know what I mean?
Really
They can, but I don't know if they think that Shador is that guy or whoever's going to be.
Okay, because I'm just trying to understand it. So if they win 10 games, like you're saying, they keep their job.
I think so.
So what happens
I think if they make the playoffs.
What happens with the Bandit you keep talking about? What happens with Russ?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. It's just like, do you see this? How many more Band-Aids are you going to put over it for year and year to come? Eventually, they have to figure out their franchise quarterback.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.